Well, hello everybody, and welcome along to the Horse Racing Network with me, Paul Alster. I'm standing in for Izzy Phillips this week, and I'm delighted to be joined by Jack Milner, who's with us in London. Jack, good to be with you. You're in an interesting location, I understand, but hopefully we're going to get through and provide some analysis on the big races this weekend.
I'm guessing you just don't mean Chiswick. Yeah, I tell you what, it was as somebody who was, an English native, British, or born and bred Brit. I've been away in Gibraltar 13 years now. The cold never ceases to amaze me. So, good luck to those hardy racegoers at Newcastle, Newbury, and Field in their thermals because it's going to be a cold one this weekend. I mean, we've got nobody to do the weather report, so I'm just going to say it's going to be cold. Well,
It is.
we'll leave that for Izzy next week for the Table Grid.
It certainly is going to be cold, and just in case to prove it, there's my hot water bottle to keep me half alive during the freeze. Now, some outstanding action coming up both at Newbury and Newcastle. At Newbury, of course, the Coral Gold Cup Handicap Chase. The old Hennessy, as those of us above the age of 30 probably will always remember it. But first, we're going to go to Newcastle, and we have a humdinger of a race in store. And this is for the BetMGM Fighting Fifth Hurdle. It is grade 1, 2 miles, 1 furlong, and it is basically a real warm up for the champion hurdle. With the new Lion, the unbeaten the new Lion for Dan Skelton, the current favourite at a best price of around 13 to 8 as of Thursday afternoon when we're recording this message. We've got Constitution Hill, the mighty horse who's had a bit of a tough time of things of late, at around 15 to 8, 7 to 4. Amsterdam, another unbeaten horse for Willie Mullins and Paul Townend. We'll come to him. We've got he's about 100 to 30. Golden Ace is about 22, maybe 25 to 1. The champion hurdler for Jeremy Scott, and Nemean Lion, who in his own right is a very talented horse, at about 66, 80 to 1 for looking. Well, let's go straight to Jack for a view on this and the one that his money is likely to be on Saturday in what is a real stellar renewal of the Fighting Fifth.
It so and I say what my money will be on. My money will probably be left in my trouser pocket, but it's one of those. If you look on official ratings, and Paul, I know you're a numbers man. Constitution Hill is officially he's got £11 on the new line.
Yeah.
And you listen to the bullishness from coming from Seven Barrows. I saw Nicky did an interview with Sean Boyce on at the race in the week. He said it's a completely different preparation from 12 months ago, whereas he's got the Newbury's at a race called Scallop. He's in a completely different place. And in my head, I can't believe how poorly, especially through his faults, how poorly he ran last season. But if the great man is saying he's back, it's like, who am I to doubt Nicky Henderson? I feel like I'm dressed like him now. I just need a blazer with a nice coloured pocket square and some salmon trousers. But if he's saying he's back, it's very hard to get away from him. If bullet to my head, I've got to find a bet in the race. I would back him at 13 to 8 Constitution Hill as opposed to the new lineup at the same price. Sprinter Zachary was probably up there with Denman, my favourite national hunt horse of all time. And if he could bring Sprinter back, given what he did in his regular heartbeat, and they never come back, as Simon Hawley said there. If he could get Sprinter back, I think he can get Constitution Hill back. So for me, I've got to go with the former champion again in his title. But fascinating race, and I'd be more curious, Paul, to hear your thoughts on the race rather than mine.
Well, I don't know about that, but I agree with what you say about Constitution Hill. Here is a superb hurdler. He's been a real star. Now, any horse can make a mistake and fall. To fall twice in a row is a concern, as happened towards the end of last season. And clearly something was amiss when he ran so poorly right at the end of the campaign over at Punchestown. But also, I think another factor in the race is that Constitution Hill is a specialist 2-miler, whereas the new Lion, very high class as he is, he's really a 2.5-mile horse. Dan Skelton has to start him off somewhere. There's very few races he can run in. I'm sure he's going to run a very big race, and I'm sure that Amsterdam as well. Oh, there we go. And I'm sure that Amsterdam as well for Willie Mullins and Paul Townend, he wouldn't be taking on these high-class horses if he didn't think Amsterdam was going to hold his own. Thus far, he's only won a Grade 3 against 2 other horses last time out. So he's got something to prove on the book, but he's clearly got limitless potential and is held in very high regard. Golden Ace, well, on the figures, she actually comes out the equal of the New Lion, who's 13 to 8, and she's 22. 25 to 1. So arguably she might be a forecast option because she is a specialist 2 miler and is a champion hurdle, even though of course it was a ridiculous champion hurdle that she won. So I rather agree with Jack here that I'm not sure it's a race to bet on, but it's a race to watch and to learn from. And of course it will be incredibly heartwarming if Constitution Hill comes back, because he's still only an 8-year-old, and we've seen great hurdlers go on to the age of 10, even 11. You know, Night Nurse and Sea Pigeon at 12 was still very high class. So Constitution Hill, I think, is the one to beat. And I just wonder if maybe Golden Ace might be up for the forecast, depending on how the race pans out. But I certainly won't be opening my wallet and having a bet on the race.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
are you surprised he's not gone chasing yet? For me, I think he seems a bit, I wouldn't say novice, he's been a bit brave / immature at his hurdles last year. He was stepping off he was almost stepping off a stride beforehand under Nico. Are you surprised they've not like sending him over fences? You know, the quote is to make a man of him. He might respect his obstacles more so if they're stronger in front of him. Are you surprised he hasn't been maybe at campaign at the arc of the season?
It's a good question. I'm not surprised, to be honest. I'm not in the camp of those that think a horse has to go chasing if he's been, a top hurdler. I'm perfectly happy to see the top hurdlers remain over hurdles. It is a great department in itself, and it would be wonderful if he was able to dominate. The way some of the great hurdlers, like Isterbrack, has done. People weren't asking Isterbrack to go over fences, but. So no, it wouldn't bother me that. I just think it was just lacking concentration, those two falls in the spring, and maybe they've done something at home that's just going to focus his mind. And if it does, and if he's as good as they say he is, back to his best or close to it, he's going to be hard to beat, I think. But we'll see. We'll know about 2:05 on Saturday afternoon. And then about 50 minutes after that race, over at Newbury, we've got the Old Hennessy Gold Cup, which is now sponsored by Corals. We've got £250,000 up for grabs here, Jack. 24 runners. And the first thing is, isn't it fantastic to see a proper big race handicap attracting a proper maximum field? We've been struggling to do that for a long time in recent years.
Yeah, been a long time since the big races had the horse balloted out, and you've got a feel for the ordering horse that was in number 27. So yeah, 2 non-runners and 1 horse balloted out. Especially when you look at the Paddy Power Gold Cup last month at Cheltenham, 2 weeks ago. Sorry, Cheltenham not having a maximum field, which is almost unthinkable when you go back to the years of like Great Endeavour or Alpha Off, or just these are the marquee races for me. Again, Denman winning the race 174 in 2009, or I think Alpha Off? Not Alpha Off. Big Grey for Alan King's winging everything for years.
Oh, yes, that was, what was his name now?
It's going to be
Smad Place.
Smad Place, yeah. I saw him win the Old Roan Chase at Aintree. It's a fabulous looking horse. But for me, you've got to be, I know it sounds like a football cliche, proper hopper horses win this. Bobsworth, he won this before winning the Gold Cup. Many Clouds won this, been en route to tilt at the Gold Cup the same season he won it, the Grand National. So, yeah, fantastic race. And so go on, Paul.
I was going to say, do you know what was the best handicapped horse possibly in the history of this race? Back in 1994, when one man won it off 10 stone, which is... no, that was Tony Dobbin and Gordon Richards back in the day, one man. And that was just an incredible thing. Also, Jimmy Fitzgerald did it a few times, Galway Blaze and such like that back in the day. But this year's renewal, Jack, we're seeing Maya Town installed as 5-1 favourite. I'll just give a few more prices as of Thursday afternoon. Maya Town, the Ultima Chase winner at 5-1. Resplendent Grey around 13-2. 9-1, you can have the Changing Man for informed Joe Tizard. Highland, which is Izzy Phillips's recommendation, by the way. That one's around 10-11-1. Katati Dory is 11-1 for Sam Thomas, who's flying this season. The Kerry National winner, Spanish Harlem at 14s. Blizzard of Oz for Willie Mullins at 16-1 with Inch House for Paul Nichols and Harry Cobden, who won it last year in the same ownership. The Paddy Power winner, Panic Attack at 16, along with the Doyen Chief and Victorino. And 20-1 bar. I'll let you have first crack at this, Jack. I know there's all sorts of action going on in behind you there, just waiting for the plods to come and drag you away at some point. But let's hear your view on what are the horses to focus on in this particular event.
I mean, the Skeletons have been kind of the team to focus on for every race, haven't they, so far? Every big race thus far. The fantastic lead from last week. Good couple of winners. Winning the Betfair Chase, Gradon, fantastic as well. But really clever ride by Dan. Interesting. I don't think you can do the weight 10 stone 8 on Panic Attack. The Paddy Power winner, and they've been talking up as she's a mare in fantastic form. Obviously, Harry goes to ride the New Lion up at Newcastle. So I'm surprised she isn't shorter.
Will she stay?
If she stays,
do you think she'll stay?
Yeah. On the ground,
I don't think so.
I don't think she will stay. If she does stay, I think she's got a fantastic chance because she jumps and travels beautifully. But for me, it's been a bit of a broken record how much I love the Changing Man, and he's such a. For me, he's the quintessential national hunt horse. He dances every dance. He's a fantastic jumper of a fence. Whether he's well handicapped enough to win this, I'm not quite sure. Given it's like he's running too well for himself. It's interesting. You don't see, for me anyway, you don't see Joe Tizard put headgear on a lot of these horses, and the Changing Man gets first-time chick pieces. But he ran a brilliant race last time out on his season debut at Ascot, only beaten by Harry's friend, 11.5. He's gone up £1 for that. I don't think 3.25 miles is any hindrance to him. He got him second last year on Midlands National. Then you talked 3 miles, and that was really heavy ground. Yep. And then second in the Ultimate by Mertown last season. So 1-4-3, the Changing Man. I think he's got a very good chance, and it would be folly for me to desert it now against. So hopefully reverse the form with the horse for Lucid repeated. But fabulous race. Again, one of my favourite races of the season. I could make a case probably half a dozen. Katati Dory ran on Old Run Chase Day at Ascot. A couple of paddock judges were there, and so that the horse was as fat as a fool. Will undoubtedly come on for the run. He's got very good form, especially with Highland from last season. Wouldn't be surprised. I know he's got £2. He's £2 wrong at the weights, but he should run really well. Likewise, Highland who he beat at Kempton. But yeah, I've got to nail my colours to the mat. So I backed the Changing Man and a little bit on Alan King's, the Doyen Chief anti-post, and I can't be swayed from either of them at this present time.
So the Changing Man for Jack, it certainly has a massive chance. Got a big pull in the weights with Maya Town for their Ultima running. I mean, one thing I should mention is the weather, that they're saying there could be quite a lot of rain around from Friday evening through all the way Saturday to the time of the race. It could come up soft. It's already good to soft, and I'm kind of reckoning my analysis on soft ground here. Resplendent Grey, I thought, was terrific on his reappearance over a trip short of his best at Carlisle. And he's gone up £6. I'm not sure he'd want it to be really testing Resplendent Grey, but otherwise I would give him a massive chance. I think that Victorino is going to run well for Venetia. He was third in the race last year. And if he can pick his hooves up through the first half of the race, which he didn't last year, he clobbered everything and then finished like a train, I think he wouldn't be far away. 3-Card Bragg as well, who won so well at Cheltenham. But again, he's one that wouldn't want it too soft. I'm going to throw one at you here at big odds, because I think if it does come up soft, that the Irish national winner of 2024, Intense Raffles, would have a really serious chance. He's trained by Tom Gibney in Ireland and the mount of Ben Bromley, who's claiming £5. and he looked a real star when he won at Fairyhouse in April 24. Remember, he was second to Nick Rocket in February of this year in the Bobby Joe Chase in Ireland, and he was giving the Grand National winner £3 when he was beaten less than a length. And then on his reappearance just 3 weeks ago, um, it was over 2 miles 5, which is far too short for him. He was outpaced, but stayed on really nicely over the last half a mile or so. And although he's got a lot of weight, I think he's got a big chance. And he's actually 40 to 1 in 10s raffles. And with plenty of firms betting 6 places, I'd be looking at intense raffles to run a big race, especially if the heavens open and it becomes a real slog, because this is a horse that won an Irish national in heavy ground. And if it comes up very testing at the end of 3¼ miles, there's going to be a lot of horses that are struggling to get home. So those are my thoughts, and we've heard what Jack fancies. Those are the two big races. I'm just going to come back to Jack before we finish and ask if there's anything else across Newbury or any of the other fixtures to put up one horse for us outside of the two big races that you might be interested in recommending.
It's very tricky. Another race I've always been fond of is the rehearsal chase at Newcastle. Venetia's got a fantastic record in that. It's one of those. It's at that time of year, isn't it, where if it's soft ground handicap chase, you kind of follow Venetia blind. But is it wrong to kind of look at something from elsewhere? Again, I was on the phone to Hector Crouch, who does a weekly blog with us here at Quiff, and he managed to get a horse called Would I Whisper to win 2 days ago. She's in under a £6 penalty, so she's a complete bridle horse, but there should be a forecast strong pace. She runs under a penalty Saturday evening at 6:30, and he said she's in fantastic form. She won by, I think, 3.5. She won by neck, but he said it could have been 3.5 lengths, just a ring style. So whilst I do like a couple elsewhere, I think the JP horse, Walbucks, the Lucinda Peter in the there's a 3-5 handicap chase. I know they think that could be a potential Scottish national horse. I'm gonna stick with. I've just spoken to Hector Crouch on the phone, and he'd be very disappointed if Would I Whisper got beat on Saturday. What out?
Okay, well, that's an interesting selection there for us on the
Very
all weather.
safe.
Well, they all count, don't they? They all add up at the end of the season. That's what it's all about. Now, we're going to be back the same time, similar time next week, when Izzy will be rejoining us. Let me just remind you that she fancies Highland in the big race at Newbury, and she also is very much in the Constitution Hill camp, she says, for the big race, the Fighting Fifth at Newcastle. Remember to check out our website as well, where we've got some good content and thoughts about racing, as well as a whole archive of videos for you to look at. But for now, from me, Paul Alster, and from Jack as well, we'll say goodbye and look forward to you joining us next week. Bye-bye for now.